Lately, it can seem like KDP is out to get you. First, we had increased fees, meaning reduced royalties, less categories we could publish in, KDP wanting to know if you've used AI to create your books, and now, the latest, a limit on the number of books you can publish each day, which we'll discuss in a bit more detail in a moment. And this has all happened within the last 4 to 5 months, and it can make you feel frustrated, confused, and I know a lot of publishers often feel like giving up. Maybe you felt like that yourself. So let's have a look at what it all means, the latest issue with the number of books a day you can publish, and why it may not be as bad as it all seems if you are serious about this business. So if you are a KDP publisher, author, or wanted to get into this business, then this video is one you don't want to miss. So first of all, these are some of the reactions I've had related to the recent changes. We had the increase in publishing fees on June 22nd this year, which meant you either had to accept lower royalties and therefore a lower income, or you increase the price of your books to try and maintain your income. I'm going to do a video on what the effects of these changes have had on my book sales to date, which some of you may be surprised about. Now, a common reaction to this was that Amazon, the big corporation, was out to make as much money as possible and squeeze publishers and authors like yourselves as much as they could. Now, with the current inflation across many countries, this change from Amazon wasn't really a surprise. In fact, since I started this business in 2018, they haven't changed their fees at all. And I'm sure paper costs, transport costs, running costs have all increased since then. And so they had to pass those charges along. So for myself, like most businesses would, my reaction was to pass these along to the customer and increase the price of my books across the board. Now, the price increase still meant a slightly lower royalty amount I received, but interestingly, the income has increased, but that could be due to a number of factors affecting sales at this time of the year. Then we had the categories changes. Now you had a wider range of categories to pick from, but a lower number you could actually choose. Some felt this was unfair, as it was less than the previous 10 you could put your book in, but it meant you now no longer had to go to the trouble of emailing KDP support and requesting they put you into other categories, and it made it easier for you to put your book in those categories that you couldn't previously choose. Now next, there was AI and having to indicate whether you used AI to create the images, interior written work, or translations of your books. Now, for this, I received some of the most strongest reactions out of all the changes that they've implemented so far. They range from things like Amazon KDP are now going to ban accounts that use AI to, and this is a bizarre one, Amazon was now going to use AI themselves to create their own books and put all publishers and authors out of business, which kind of shows a complete lack of understanding of what it takes to create a book, even using AI, and what Amazon's business model actually is. At the end of the day, they're an online retailer and not in the business of creating products, in particular books, to sell. This subject I covered in more detail in this video, which I'll leave a link to down below. And now we have the latest change that's been implemented, and that is limiting the number of uploads of books per day. Although no specific figure is written down here in the KDP help section, I've heard that that number is 3. You can't upload more than 3 books per day. Now, I'm surprised that it's taken so long for this to be implemented, as I know there are some publishers out there who publish in excess of 100 books per day. That is no and low content books. In fact, I've been asked on a number of occasions to promote tools on this channel that will automatically create and publish hundreds of books a day. You can even create books in bulk on Canva if you know how. And it's basically an equivalent of spam. I actually thought that KDP would implement a fee for publishing a book and so reduce spam. Maybe just a small nominal fee to prevent bulk uploads, but this new rule will achieve the same and still allow serious publishers to publish for free. Which brings me onto a side note and why I love this business and think it's one of the best ways to start an online business. And I really don't understand the critics other than they have no experience of running a business of any sort. You can get started for free. You don't need to pay to open a KDP account, which is not the case for something like, Amazon FBA. You can create a book for free. You don't need to pay up front to create and hold an inventory of books, which you wouldn't be able to do if you were selling via Amazon FBA or a traditional publisher. It's free to publish a book. There's no gatekeeper to go through like, with a traditional publisher. There are no storage fees to pay for your book on Amazon. It's, at the end of the day, a digital file. And this is a big one and often underappreciated one. You get free traffic from Amazon. If you decided to sell on your own platform, not only do you have to pay hosting and platform fees, but you also need to get traffic, which would probably cost you thousands and thousands of dollars and years to build up the sort of directed traffic you get from Amazon. And then finally, number 6, you have no customer support. If you've tried any business which has direct customer interaction, even something like an eBay shop, you'll know what a big pain in the ass that can be. And a lot of these benefits also apply to other platforms like Merch by Amazon, Etsy, or Redbubble, where it's either print on demand or you can sell digital products. So even despite these recent changes, it's such a good business to get started with if you want to start your online entrepreneurial journey. And I think these changes are just going to lead to an overall increase in the quality of books published on Amazon. I recently told a story in a previous video of a book I bought that was obviously written using AI and translated using an AI tool, and it was complete junk and in fact barely readable. So I can understand why Amazon would want to know if you're using AI or you've used AI. They probably want to check for themselves that it is at least of a basic quality. So going back to the recent limit of the number of books that can be published, I think it will put off those spammers and they'll go find something else to do, lead to an overall increase in quality of books published, and also reduce the competition for all those serious publishers like all you guys and gals out there who watch this channel. Another area that could benefit is the time it takes KDP to review your books. They say it should be within 72 hours, but often it could be up to a week or a bit longer, especially at busier times. So with less books being published, this could bring back down the review time. So is KDP out to get you? Well, I don't think so. I know it can sometimes feel like that, but all businesses change and evolve. Amazon's ethos has always been to provide the best customer experience, and I think it's all part of that. And if the customer has a good experience, then they are more likely to come back and buy more of your products. And like all businesses, you need to adapt. If you persist through these changes, you're going to be the expert and publishers with experience in the next 1 to 2 years. As the legal rules become more clarified in areas such as AI, you'll be positioned to take full advantage of it and be there from the start. So, when you see those books that were published a few years ago and think or say, oh, it was easier back then, you'll be in that position yourself in a couple of years' time and have that advantage you have right now, today. And I guarantee those publishers that do leave and who maybe come back will be saying in the future, this business is, hard, AI is saturated, the whole thing is ruined. Very much like what a lot of people say right now. And the last thing to remember is with KDP, you're building a business on someone else's platform. So you either get on with it and go with the changes, or you try something else instead. There's lots of other businesses out there that you could try, and you should always look at diversifying your business. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I started with KDP, then I added YouTube, and then added digital products. If one of those goes down or becomes unworkable, then it's not the end of the world. Now, if despite all this, you're still keen on this KDP publishing business, then I suggest starting with my book tutorial playlist here, where I run through all the steps of creating and publishing low content books on Amazon. Thank you very much for your time. It's very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, goodbye.